Troye Sivan, welcome to Q.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that intro. That was really nice.
Oh, it's nice to have you here. How does it feel to hear your teenage self again?
It's so weird. I'm thinking about my accent and stuff like that. I'm also just thinking about that video, and that was I haven't watched that video, I don't think, since probably since I uploaded it, you know? So, yeah, it's interesting hearing myself talk about all that
My
stuff.
favorite thing about the video is early on, I think you realize what the title of the video is, and you're like, so I'm going to tell you something today about myself and... Well, I guess if you looked at the title, you might have figured it out.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
If you looked at the title, you might have figured it out. But let me tell you a little bit about myself.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how quickly things have changed for you. Like I heard a story that not long ago you were on stage and you just gave out your email address, which was just troyesivan@gmail.com. You know, things have happened very quickly.
Yeah, I changed it, by the way.
I mean, that's the only reason I feel comfortable saying it on the air is because I know you changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, things really did take a turn pretty quickly. I mean, I think the thing that's been really satisfying and exciting for me about the way that things have played out is there's really been no framework or pathway that's been kind of clear for me to follow this entire time. You know, I've always kind of just done whatever felt exciting and cool to me at the time, whether that was making YouTube videos or making music or, you know, auditioning for movies or whatever it was. I was always just kind of doing whatever felt fun. And the really cool thing is that it's the way that things are kind of played out. I don't think anyone could have really predicted, including myself. And so I just feel like as along for the ride as everyone else. You know, I have no idea where I'm going to be in another 5 years from now, and that feels really cool.
When you first started making YouTube videos, you said it was about making people. You made them for every kid who felt as scared as you did when you were 14. Mm-hmm. How did you feel when you were 14?
I think I felt really alone. I was super self-aware. I always have been as far as my sexuality goes. So I think I really knew even then that I was different. I probably at 14 already knew that I was gay. I'd already come to terms with that within myself. And I was very kind of cerebral about the whole thing and spent a lot of time in my own head and in my own bedroom. And so that can kind of be quite isolating, you know, to not be able to talk to anyone about all the things that you're experiencing and feeling.
And also, I know you've said this, and this is not something that necessarily I understand, but that a lot of the firsts that happened to your friends who would be straight would have to happen later for you. You know, these things would happen 3 or 4 years later. I can only imagine that's isolating as well. You know,
totally. Yeah. You know, I mean, at that point, I was not homeschooled yet. I was still in high school, and you know, people are going out and making out with their friends and whatever, meeting people at parties and having their first kiss with them and stuff like that, and even going on dates and getting their first boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever, and all that stuff for me just felt like a million years away. Right. And I didn't know any LGBT people growing up at all, and really just had no idea where to look for any sort of connection in that way. And I really just wanted to be like everybody else, you know. So it was kind of a bit of a, I felt a little bit sorry for myself for a few years just because I was like, this sucks. I want to be 18 already so that I can, you know, I want to be out of the closet. I want to be going to gay clubs. I want to be traveling so that I can go and meet gay people. And
right.
I remember there was one organization in Perth where I was growing up that it was an underage LGBT center, I guess, where you could go and you could meet other people. But even that, I was you know, I couldn't drive. I never took public transport really growing up. So I was kind of I didn't know how I would do that. And what was I going to do? Lie to my parents about where I was going? You know, I actually didn't feel like I had any sort of way out. You know, I felt kind of trapped. So I just was spent a lot of time on the internet.
Is it what you hoped it to be?
Completely. And much, much, much more. I sometimes forget that not everyone is gay. I don't know, I live in very close to West Hollywood and not consciously, but almost all of my friends are LGBT now, and you know, just it's a part of my work. It's kind of it's almost everything and nothing at the same time, you know, in a really, really nice way.
And I think, you know, if that was the intention of the YouTube videos, I think your music has done that for a lot of people as well. Is that intentional for you as well?
Yeah, I think so. It's like I definitely I had my music that got me. Music for me has been like a constant in my life, sort of like a companion that got me through all kinds of different things, and definitely got me through that time in my life as well. And I found like real. Sounds so cheesy to say, but like friendship and solitude and stuff like that in the music that I was listening to at the time.
Like who?
Like Robin and Amy Winehouse was a really big one for me. And I don't know, I found these pop stars that were super, super interesting to me and were doing the kind of stuff that I could only ever dream of. And a lot of the time as well, it turned out that they were like really cool about LGBTQ stuff.
And they were different too. They were the two you mentioned there. Robin and Amy Winehouse. They seemed to be outsiders of pop music who, against all odds, were succeeding in pop music.
Totally, yeah. And so that was it was really inspiring to me. And then I would find this music, and I don't know, my friends growing up didn't really care about music. Like they would listen to whatever was on the radio or whatever, but music discovery and finding like cool pop and developing my own musical taste, that felt like very personal to me. It felt like something that I was just doing. It was like a conversation that I was having with myself, which at the time I was having a lot of conversations with just myself, And so kind of my like coming to terms with myself and coming out to myself and all that is very closely tied to music. Like I can remember the songs that I was listening to around that time and everything. And yeah, so I would love to be that for someone.
I think you are. I want to listen to some music right now. This is an older song from Blue Neighborhood, your last record. This is called Heaven.
Without losing a piece of me, how do I get to heaven? Without changing a part of me, how do I get to heaven? All my time is wasted, feeling like my heart's mistaken. So if I'm losing a piece of me, maybe I don't want heaven.
From Blue Neighborhood, that's Heaven from Troye Sivan. If I'm losing a piece of me, maybe I don't want heaven. How does it feel to listen back to that song too, by the way?
It feels weird because I'm just, like, the honest truth is I'm thinking, oh God, the studio version sounds really different from the live version.
Right.
We still play that song at every show, but I haven't listened to Blue Neighborhood in a really, really long time. So, yeah, I mean, also I'm thinking about the lyrics and...
What are you thinking?
Just that they still completely ring true. I think now when I hear that song, it's much more about, I almost like perform it as a form of like storytelling about something that feels very in the past now for me,
Because you about your faith, about
yeah,
because you grew up Jewish in Perth, right? And it's sort of a traditional Jewish family in Perth. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
give some
no, yeah,
context here.
no, completely. So it was about a lot of things. It was about for sure tackling faith. I think that even though I was never really a very religious person, I grew up in a kind of just traditional Jewish community in Perth, and so that was like, I went to a Jewish school, so that was something that I grappled with for like a second before I just got really proud and I was like, fine, I don't believe in God anymore, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably going to arrive at that point anyway.
And is that where you are now still?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I love being Jewish and I feel very, very Jewish. And kind of God has very like little to do with that for me. It's about the fact that every Friday night growing up, I had Shabbat dinner with my family, and my parents did. Well, my dad did that with his family. My mum converted, and their parents did that, and their parents did that, and we like escaped the Holocaust and all of this stuff. I really appreciate where I've come from, and it makes me feel at home when I'm far away, and I really value all that stuff. So I've kind of arrived at a good spot with that. But at the time it was a bit of a stress. And then I also talk about like, really wanting to have a family one day. That's something that's extremely important to me. And that was something that I remember I was very, very heartbroken about for a little while when I was a kid, because I was like, I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to do that, and I still don't know how I'm going to do it, but at least now I've come to terms with the fact that I still can do that.
There's a path.
there's a million options of how you
Yeah.
can kind of do that. So, but at the time it felt really scary, and yeah, I was kind of just tackling all of that stuff, and it's sort of the moment where you realize like, oh, this is like my reality, Growing up, I would meet a gay person, and in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my God, they're gay, they're gay, they're gay, they're gay. It's like all I could think about. And I think that's probably because I, in the back of my mind, knew that I was too.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's a weird moment where you're like, you realize that that's my truth. That's like my life now for the rest of my life. And that's my journey. I'm going to have to come out, and I'm going to have to like adopt kids or whatever. It's just like a shift in the way that you think about yourself. And so that song sort of tackles like all of that.
How are you finding people coming up to you and sharing their own experiences like you're sharing with me? You're being very generous, by the way, and talking to me about these very personal things in your life. Yeah. But I'm sure that people must come up to you and tell you their stories. Fans must come up to you and tell you their stories.
Yeah.
How do you do with that?
I mean, I love it personally. I think, sometimes, somebody will come up and they're like 13, even younger than I was when I came out. And you can kind of see, you can tell the entire story just by like what's going on in their face. And that they're kind of like, I know exactly what that person is going through, even if they maybe haven't kind of, maybe wherever they are in their journey is kind of like a separate thing, but you can just feel this like weight on the kid's chest, and they, come up and like hug you, and they're all sweaty from having a really good time at a show where my biggest hope is that they've seen people that are coming from all different walks of life, identifying all different kinds of ways, just relaxing and having a good time. And I really, really just hope that they've had a good night, and it's like, it's very, very special. It's super, super nice.
But are there ever moments, not with your fans, of course, but are there ever moments just with people like me or the press or the attention given around it? You're 23 years old?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot left to figure out.
Totally.
You're still on a journey. Are there ever moments where you're like, hey, I have to slow down. I'm still figuring this out myself. I'm still struggling with things myself.
Completely. Yeah. I think like, I really just take comfort in the fact that I am on a journey, and I talk about that all the time, almost to like remind people, that like nobody is kind of fully self-actualized, you know what I mean? And definitely not me. So I'm gonna for sure make mistakes and mess up, and like I really like reminding people that, because I think it takes a little bit of the pressure off me, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll mess up, and then I think it's how you respond that really matters, Yeah,
I can only imagine, because I think people tend to think that celebrities or, famous people have it, all figured out. Again, we were talking about this before we turned the microphones on, but like, you're still a human. You're still trying to figure this out,
Totally. And yeah, I think sometimes it's there's a whole kind of separate set of, and this sounds so like, I have things amazing, and most, people who are like in entertainment and who are doing well at it have really, really great lives, But of course, there's still personal stuff that you're dealing with, and then there's this whole kind of other set of pressures and issues that kind of come with dealing with normal life stuff in a public way or whatever. If you go through a breakup, it's like there's a lot more stuff that you have to kind of think about, or if you, whatever it is that you're going through, you kind of have to think about how you're going to deal with it on Twitter afterwards or whatever. But it's fine. Like, there obviously could be much worse.
I just deleted it off my phone. I decided.
You did?
Yeah, I want it off the phone.
I do that sometimes.
I think I'll last about 3 hours this time.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, I'm speaking to Troye Sivan. Listen to some more music. This is the title track from your new album, Bloom.
Take a trip into my garden. I've got so much to show you. The fountains and the waters are begging just to know you. And it's true, baby, I've been saving this for you, baby. I guess it's something like a fun fair. Put gas into the motor, and boy, I'll meet you right there. We'll ride the roller coaster, 'cause it's true, baby, I've been saving this for you.
That is Troye Sivan with Bloom. I'm Tom Power. You're listening to Q. I love that song, by the way.
Thank you.
So much.
Thanks.
I wasn't in this morning, so I listened to that song at like 2 a.m. last night.
Oh, yeah, nice.
It's a beautiful song. I
Thank
should
you.
say, very passionate debate on the internet about the meaning of that song. You do know
Right.
that, right?
What's the debate?
Well, I guess before the meaning of the song came out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with everyone's sort of figured it out, and that's absolutely fine by me.
But the thing is that the song's about I don't know how I should put this. The song's about sex.
Good luck, yeah.
The song's about gay sex. The song's about your first time being intimate with this person,
Yep.
and all that means, right? Are you aware that there are people who would just listen to that song when it comes on the radio and kind of bop to it and might miss some of the lyric
Yes.
nuances of it?
Yes, that was the goal. That's like the funny part to me. I hope that, like, the whole song is kind of tongue in cheek, and honestly, it was me and my best friend writing it, and we were having a laugh. Like, I didn't ever think that the song was going to come out.
Well, I think it's sort of beautiful.
No, me too, totally, 100%. Like, I think that, for every line that's kind of like a little bit cheeky, it's also extremely, extremely like real and I think romantic actually and sweet, So I love the song so much, but for sure there's an element of like it's a little bit tongue in cheek, and there's like a wink with every couple of lines,
And the awareness that people are going to be able
and
to
the
listen
awareness
to this.
that it sounds like a Katy Perry song or something like that, and that somebody's just gonna like somebody who maybe is like homophobic one day is gonna be like, I love this song. You know what I mean? Like, that's really funny to me. So yeah.
Pop music sometimes can be seen as a really conservative genre of music. It could seem to be based in lyrics that haven't changed since the 80s and the 90s. It's seen as a genre of music that's often less afraid to take risks and sometimes less afraid to be provocative. But here you are. I mean, you're climbing the charts with the songs that are erotic, they're unapologetic, they're about gay sex. What does that say to you about pop's ability to talk about things like that right now?
Well, I see pop as like it's interesting hearing you talk about that. As talk about pop as kind of like a more conservative genre. Because I don't really see it that way unless maybe I'm just like
No, please. I mean, this is
no,
just
yeah.
me. Yeah.
I kind of the pop to me is actually like kind of a I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a sonic genre, not necessarily like what's popular on the radio at the time. You know what I mean? Because I guess like right now, pop music is much more like hip hop leaning. But to me, that's not necessarily like pop music. It's hip hop.
Yeah.
I see pop as like as a specific kind of sound almost, and or world, and within that, you've got like the Charlie XCXs, and you've got Kim Petras, and you've got Robin, and you've got I don't know, Lily Allen, and there's like a bunch of people who keep things interesting for me, at least. So I have always been really inspired by artists like that. And try to kind of keep pop exciting.
I had to say, speaking of Charlie XCX, it did kind of break my heart a little bit. Your new video.
Why?
Because it was you being nostalgic for the first time. I'm only in my early 30s.
Yeah.
It was you. It's
Did you feel old?
It's 1999, right? And so
Yeah.
there's you and Charlie XCX in the Titanic, and you're kind of being nostalgic for an era of music that you weren't around for. And I went, I was around for that.
Right. I was around. I was just 4. I was 4 years old.
But it leads me to my next question. So I want to take a listen to this. This is Dance to This with Ariana Grande.
Cool.
We can just dance to this. Don't take much to stop me. We can just dance to this. Push up on my body. You know we already seen all of the parties. We can just dance to this. We can just dance to this.
What a song. That is Dance to This, Troye Sivan and Ariana Grande. I love that song so much, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm Tom Power. Troye Sivan's in the Q studio with me right now. So the connection I'm going to make between 1999 and that song is
Ooh, no idea.
Max Martin, right?
Well,
Not to say he's in the song, but you wrote with some of those guys, that
Yes.
Max Martin crew.
Yeah, both.
So if you're listening to this, Max Martin is the guy who wrote Hit Me Baby One More Time for Britney Spears. He wrote Everybody Backstreet's Back for
Yep.
the Backstreet Boys. I'm just trying to think of the most obvious
well,
examples.
then fast forward to him writing. I mean, like
I Can't Feel My Face with The Weeknd.
Exactly.
Taylor Swift, We're Never Ever Getting Back Together.
Yep.
Like the greatest.
Shake It Off, all of those.
Shake It Off, wrote Shake It Off. You worked with those sort of Swedish pop.
Well, so then Max started, I guess it's like a publishing company. And he has signed a bunch of writers in Sweden and a bunch of writers in LA. And it's sort of like for me as a fan of pop, it's like the holy grail of like, that's where you go if you want, to make those songs in that kind of like way. And so it was the dream for sure. And yeah, I worked with, it's called MXM, his company.
Yep.
And I worked with MXM on both of those songs.
Did you go back to the early stuff, like the Ace of Base stuff he worked on?
I haven't really. I hear that he is apparently himself an amazing singer.
Yeah, he was in a metal band.
Yeah, so I need to go back and like listen to. I never listened to it.
I've always wanted to meet him. He's sort of a mysterious guy, right?
He's super, super, super lovely.
You met him? Lovely guy.
Yeah, very, very nice.
So what makes that group so good? Like, you're a great songwriter. You're a great pop songwriter. Your last record was fantastic too.
Thank you.
So, but when you go in and work with these folks who are sort of top call, A-team call to write the big Taylor Swift smash, the big Weekend smash, what do you learn from them?
I learned so much. I mean, like, so first thing is that the process is really interesting. I went into they work out of like this house studio, this beautiful house. And I went in and I had a meeting before the session, which I'd never really had a meeting before writing with people before. And you kind of sit around a big round table and everyone is there. And
It feels like a board meeting.
it's super, super interesting. And I kind of like, I explained to them the album and what I wanted to achieve. And I was like really intimidated. I was like, guys, I honestly, I'm a bit scared and I kind of want to go away and work with the people that I know and love, Ali X, Leland, Braminsko, and kind of like find the sound. And then I want to come to you guys. And once I kind of feel a bit more confident in myself and in this album, and then we can kind of play and we can find where's the poppiest end of this world using these sounds and stuff like that. And so I kind of felt like I had to build the language first before I got to them. And that's exactly what I did. And I remember being really scared the first couple of sessions going in there. And also though, I sort of expected to go in there and there'd be like, and Max opens this like book and he's like, here's the formula.
Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
You need to repeat the chorus because he does this thing where he does the bridge as a version of the chorus.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, in the early days, like that was. I was
yeah.
like, he must have a million of them.
No, yeah, totally. Yeah. And honestly, that doesn't exist. I was most surprised by the fact that you go in and they are writers like anybody else. I mean, they are great writers. They have an amazing understanding of pop music. They keep things really simple. Never too many sounds that as few sounds and as few parts as a song can have, it should have. And the thing is that, that sounds maybe simplistic, but then you've got much less real estate to make it count. So it's like everything has to be absolutely perfect. They're so much more like patient than anybody else I've ever worked with. They will stay late in the studio fixing the tiniest little thing. I remember I got like annoyed one time, not annoyed actually, but like on Bloom, we were done with a really, really long day. And I was writing with Peter Svensson in Sweden, who's this like incredible writer. And vocals were tracked, everything was done, and I was like, I can go and like
go home.
Have some meatballs right now.
Yeah.
And he was like, wait, we need to do, instead of I bloom, it has to be yeah, I bloom. And I was like, really?
What?
Really? And I did it, and it changed the whole rhythm of the chorus. And like,
What do you mean?
I don't know, it just like he said the gap between the pre-chorus and the chorus was too long. And so we had to get that little extra rhythm in there, and it worked. Or like, there's this song Plum. I had tracked all of the vocals, and instead of the lyric is maybe we're overgrown, and I break that word up into 3 syllables, and we had to go back in on another day to retrack it to be maybe we're overgrown.
As opposed to grown.
And it made it feel so much more like rhythmic and cool. And so things like that, they'll listen with their eyes closed, and like they're so tuned in, and just whatever it takes to make the perfect song, they will do it.
What an experience that is for you, man. Like, what an experience. By the way, you mentioned Ali X. We have a couple of questions left for you. I know you got to run, but
all good.
We have you mentioned Ali X, a Canadian songwriter who you worked with. I know you've worked with Alessia Cara, Carly Rae Jepsen. I feel like you're secretly Canadian. Like, I feel like...
I feel like Australians and Canadians have like a thing. I don't know.
Do you really?
I feel like, yes, because I feel like we're actually quite similar.
We're not Americans.
Yeah, we're not Americans, but also just like, I don't know, just like both part of the Commonwealth. And
Right.
It's a very, very nice place, clean. Everyone's really nice. Maybe Australia's a little bit warmer, but other than that, I don't think it's all that different.
They're better animals than we do, I think.
Yeah, but we also have like spiders and stuff.
It's terrifying. Mm-hmm. You did a song with Carly Rae, right?
We wrote together. It never came out, but which is like very common.
Yeah.
You know that, but yeah, I don't know. Just like it was a really fun day. She's amazing.
Do
But
you
Ali
think
and
it might come out?
Well, no, because I don't think it actually exists.
Oh,
'cause
it
I
was
didn't
just a
track
song
the
you wrote.
vocals. We were
Right,
just like
sure.
writing one day.
But you and Ali, so Ali X, I should say, yeah. If you're listening to this, you might know her. She was in a reality show in Canada.
Really?
She was in this I Want to Be Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Or it was Anne of Green Gables. It was a CBC show where, cause she used to be a great folk singer named Allie Hughes.
Awesome, yeah.
And she auditioned for a reality show. How do you solve a problem like Maria? It was the Sound of Music reality show.
Wow.
Yeah. She's amazing. I went to see her just a couple months ago in Toronto.
Yeah. I mean, her and I have been writing together now for probably like 4 years. She's one of my favorite writers and one of my favorite people. She is so sweet and generous and just like, I just have so much respect for her as an artist as well. You know, I feel like for her, there's no, it's like art is at the forefront of like everything that she is and everything that she does, but with zero pretension. Is that the word? She's not pretentious at all. And that to me is like the ultimate cool. You know, when someone creates something that you think is so insane and then you meet them and they're really, really, really nice and they're just like, she is like a pop music nerd and she does production and she's just like the coolest, sweetest girl, and I love her.
I think what I was talking about earlier is that I think like historically I see pop music as a conservative genre.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I do see people like you and people like Ali X and I think Robin really kind of spearheaded the whole thing.
Totally.
As really kind of changing and making a more artful pop music.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting time. It's been really great to talk to you.
Thanks so much.
I had to come in and talk to you. It was supposed to be an off day for me.
Thank you. I know I heard. You can go do whatever you needed to do now.
No, but I'm going to get ready to talk to Alessia Cara next, which is...
Oh, today?
I think tomorrow I'm talking to her.
Oh, okay, cool. Tell her I say hey.
I certainly will. So but I want to close off this way. So you, in the movie Boy Erased, a drama about a gay conversion therapy camp, you're the face of an ad campaign by Valentino. You have Bloom coming out, which everyone's playing on the radios. What do you want to do next? Besides nap.
I have a lot of stuff that I want to do. I don't really want to talk about it yet because I don't want to like jinx it because it's very far off in the future. But
in grand terms.
I would love to. I mean, in grand terms, I just want to keep people interested. That's like it. I think I'm still interested because, like I said earlier, I think the world is like surprising me always with what it throws at me. But yeah, more acting, more albums. Maybe some random thing. Maybe in 10 years I'll be like completely behind the scenes. Who knows? I'm just going along with whatever because everything has worked out so much better than I could have ever dreamt of already. So I'm like stoked and just excited to see what happens next.
I love your music so much. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Troye Sivan's latest album is called Bloom. You can find it in stores now. I said that so quickly. I love your music so much. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
You can catch him in the new movie Boy Erased, which just premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival.